September 12, 1944. The Pacific War has entered its most relentless phase. American forces, advancing island by island, are preparing to strike Peleliu, a small coral island in the Palau chain, just 6 miles long and 2 miles wide. To most, it seems insignificant, but its airfield holds the key to controlling the sea lanes toward the Philippines. Capturing it is essential to General MacArthur's plan to return to Luzon. At dawn, the sea surrounding Peleliu is calm, but beneath that surface, thousands of men and machines prepare for battle. Offshore, Task Force 38 patrols the vast blue, a formation of carriers, cruisers, and destroyers that together represent one of the most powerful naval armadas ever assembled. Among the pilots aboard those carriers is a man known by his squadron simply as Cowboy. Major Stout, 30 years old, broad-shouldered, calm, and methodical, has been flying since before the war. He grew up on the open plains of Texas, where the horizon never ended and the sky was always the challenge. The Navy called him Cowboy, not because of swagger, but because of his quiet confidence. The kind that comes from countless hours alone in the cockpit, where decisions are measured in seconds and survival depends on instinct. That morning, his orders are straightforward. Conduct a photographic reconnaissance of Peleliu's airfield. No engagement. No deviation. Take pictures. Confirm that the base is abandoned, and return to the USS Hornet. The mission is routine, the kind of low-risk operation that precedes every amphibious assault. Intelligence has reported the island largely evacuated of aircraft, but intelligence in the Pacific has been wrong before. Stout's aircraft, a Grumman F-6F Hellcat, is rugged, powerful, and dependable. It's designed to outfight the Japanese Zero, built with armor plating around the cockpit and self-sealing fuel tanks that keep pilots alive when luck runs out. It's not fast by European standards, but in the Pacific, it's a workhorse, forgiving, lethal, and able to take extraordinary punishment. Stout knows every vibration of the machine as he rolls down the deck, catapult launched into a blinding sunrise. The flight to Peleliu is short, just over an hour across the Philippine Sea. From above, the island looks peaceful, a thin crescent of sand, turquoise water curling around its reefs, palm trees swaying under the wind. Nothing suggests that beneath that beauty lies a fortress of coral, tunnels, and concrete bunkers carved by thousands of Japanese defenders. As Stout descends toward the runway, his camera begins to click, mechanical, steady, routine. But what his lens captures in the next moments is anything but routine. Across the airfield are dozens of Japanese aircraft, neatly parked in rows, their silver fuselages reflecting the sun. Mechanics move between them, fuel trucks idle nearby. This is no abandoned base. It's alive, fully operational, and worse, ready. Each plane is armed, fueled, and positioned for takeoff. Stout instantly understands what that means. The upcoming invasion, involving 28,000 Marines, is only 3 days away. If these aircraft are allowed to launch when the fleet arrives, the results could be catastrophic. The transports, the landing craft, the Marines storming the beaches, all would be within easy range of a coordinated Japanese airstrike. He tries to radio back to the carrier group, but his message dissolves into static. Whether by interference or range, the connection is gone. He's alone above enemy territory, outnumbered, and staring at a potential disaster. In the strict hierarchy of military command, Stout's duty is to return to base and report. But every pilot knows that moments define missions, and hesitation can kill. In that moment, Stout makes a decision that defies protocol and ultimately defines his life. He climbs slightly, aligns his sights on the first row of planes, and dives. The Hellcat's 6.50 caliber machine guns thunder. The tracers streak downward, ripping through aluminum and gasoline. The first aircraft bursts apart in flame, a fountain of smoke rising from the ground. The second explodes seconds later, engulfing the third in a chain of destruction. Within seconds, the quiet island erupts into chaos. Stout pulls up, banks, and comes around for another run. Japanese anti-aircraft gunners scramble to their positions, but they're uncoordinated and slow to react. He dives again, strafing fuel trucks this time. The explosion sends shockwaves through the airfield, igniting the remaining rows of aircraft. Black smoke curls into the sky, visible for miles. The attack continues in controlled fury. Stout makes pass after pass, emptying belt after belt of ammunition. The once orderly airfield becomes a burning graveyard of steel and fire. Each detonation triggers another until the entire base is engulfed in a rolling inferno. Japanese crews run for cover, some firing small arms hopelessly at the speck of blue-gray aircraft tearing through the smoke above. For the next 20 minutes, he strafes targets until his guns run dry. The air smells of burning fuel even inside his cockpit. The instrument panel vibrates from the concussive blasts below. He's flying through heat so intense it distorts the horizon. His plane, once a clean blue, is now streaked with soot. By the time the last magazine empties, 40 enemy aircraft lie destroyed or burning. The airfield that was to launch an assault against the invasion fleet is gone, reduced to twisted wreckage. Stout climbs sharply to escape the firestorm. Tracers still follow him, but the gunners are blind, shooting through smoke. One shell explodes dangerously close, tearing a hole through his right wing. His altimeter wavers. Warning lights flicker. The Hellcat groans under the strain, but holds together. As he gains altitude, his radio crackles back to life. The USS Hornet's signal breaks through faintly. Control has him on radar and demands a status report. Stout answers calmly, giving his coordinates, altitude, and a brief summary of what just occurred. The airfield at Peleliu is no longer a threat. When he finally returns to the carrier, the deck crew can see what his words can't describe. The Hellcat's paint is scorched and pitted with shrapnel. Its guns are overheated and jammed with residue. The smell of burning fuel follows him down the ladder. He lands, taxis, and shuts down the engine. For a long moment, no one speaks. Then the mechanics begin to swarm the aircraft, inspecting the damage, realizing the impossibility of what just happened. His commanding officer listens in silence as Stout delivers his report. "Sir, the airfield isn't abandoned," he says. The rest hardly needs explaining. Aerial photographs taken hours later confirm the story. Every visible aircraft on Peleliu's runway lies in ruins. The intelligence briefings are rewritten overnight. 3 days later, on September 15th, the Marines begin their assault. The landings at Peleliu become some of the fiercest combat of the Pacific War, fought in unbearable heat over coral ridges nicknamed Bloody Nose. But the skies above remain clear. Not a single Japanese bomber rises to meet the invasion fleet. Military analysts later estimate that Stout's unsanctioned action and prevented potentially thousands of casualties. Japanese planners had concentrated their remaining aircraft on Peleliu for one last coordinated strike. If they had succeeded, the invasion might have been delayed or even repelled. Instead, their entire aerial contingent was wiped out before it could take off. For Stout, there is no medal ceremony, no public recognition. The report of his mission circulates quietly through command channels, noted for bravery but officially categorized as unauthorized engagement. To some, it is insubordination. To others, initiative of the highest order. The war continues, and Peleliu becomes just one chapter among many. Yet among those who know the story, Stout's action remains an example of decisive courage, the kind that changes outcomes without fanfare. After the war, he returns home to Texas. He rarely speaks about Peleliu. When asked about the mission, he simply states that he did what seemed necessary at the time. The record remains clear. 1 pilot, 1 aircraft, 40 enemy planes destroyed in a single, unplanned attack. Historians studying the campaign later reconstruct the event through flight logs, aerial reconnaissance photos, and survivor reports. Every piece of evidence confirms the same improbable truth: that a single American fighter crippled an entire Japanese air wing and cleared the skies for one of the most crucial landings of the Pacific. The Wildcat, or rather, the Hellcat that day, proved more than metal and horsepower. It proved what a single decision could do in the chaos of war. Cowboy Stout never called himself a hero. But for the 28,000 Marines who landed on Peleliu under clear skies, his choice meant the difference between life and death. The Pacific rolls on, endless and indifferent. The island that once burned is quiet now, overgrown with palms and coral dust. But beneath that silence, the story remains. A reminder that even in a war fought by millions, sometimes history turns on the will of one man at the controls of a single plane.